that word, I told you that I myself still believe in some colonial things. Because I guess the reason we are also having this conference is not only to plant seeds of how we actually decolonize systems that no longer serve us, that have denied us our identities and pride in ourselves, but that it begins with us as well as Africans. So it's to plant seeds, because some of us are change agents, but in our way of beings, we don't want to change. We want to change that system. But how we perceive this system is still very much colonized. So I'm sure some of you, when we walked in, you know, we don't want those things. I get invited to a lot of places, and the minute I start doing Sangoma things, people become uncomfortable. But then people will say, I am proud African, I don't understand. And maybe it's my own worldview. And this is what I mean by I don't understand. So if you say that you are African, whatever African color you are, it means that being African comes with all of it. It doesn't come with some of it. And what we struggle with a lot as Africans is this whole notion of abangaseko, abanye bathi abaphansi, abanye bathi ihlozi. In English it's called ancestor, but in our language those three words mean three different things. So as I try to summarize them in English, we can collate them into one, is those who have lived before and are now longer no more. So that's what we mean by ancestors. And every faith, belief system, every religion that exists in this planet, it is based on ancestry. It is based on ancestors because we believe in what those who've lived before us believe in. But I began by saying that I don't believe in my ancestors, I know in my ancestors. Because belief is an external thing, but knowing is an internal thing. I know for sure that they are with me. I know for sure that when I walked into this room and I said, Vulana Masango Ngingene, I was not only asking for your permission or your ancestors' permission, but I was also asking of mine. Those that I know that when I speak, it is not only of my own knowing, but it's also them speaking through me. Because Ukba Ungoma, what you are is you're a mouthpiece of those who do not have the body to continue doing the struggles that they need to continue, but they do it through you. Maldome Some speaks about ancestors have the knowing because they are one with creation, they have everything, but they don't have a body. Yiko abantu abafana nathi sizoba nobizo. Because then they see compatibility, and sometimes what we see as compatibility again is from a very Western perspective. Because compatibility for us, it's about the mentally prepared, the willing, the one who has no other things, you know, that are important, the one who has no profession or has all those other things. That's what we would perceive as compatibility. But ancestors understand deeply spiritual, because in African spirituality, we know, we don't believe, we know that we are actually just humans, or it, which it could be human or animals or plants, having a spiritual experience. We're not spirit having a human experience. We are spirit having a human experience. We're not human having a spiritual experience. Because in African spirituality, the essence of who we are is our spirituality, and that's why connecting with our ancestors is so paramount, and that's why it's so crucial. And I say to a lot of people, you know, Africa has found its what we call political liberation at different times for different countries over decades of years, and some of us are even moving to centuries, but yet we're still not liberated. And I ask myself, what? Why? Because spiritually we're not liberated. So we can't be having these conversations around decolonization without really wanting to dig deep to spirituality. And we're not holding you hostage to say, you are twasas already in your spaces. I don't understand, you know, sometimes I said that I'm going to throw it back to you. You know, as Africans, we are people who are very engaging, but we've been told we are too loud sometimes. So when Ukoko speaks, one to Yebo Koko, Togosa Koko, come up. When I'm sure you're sitting behind the chair, something formal, you have to be formal. We need to challenge some of those belief systems about what is formality, including what is education, really. We need to be challenging those notions, because they said, Kogo, they sent me a long brief, you know, and I said, Some of the things I'm going to say today is the things I'm saying for the very first time, because I didn't know they existed until they told me they were so. Because I am a storyteller. I'm a storyteller. I tell stories and tales of those who have lived before me through my interaction of those who live now. And then through that, then I create stories and tales for our children and our children's children.